Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women. Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today, I'll share with you a 1968 American science fiction film adapted from the 1962 Soviet sci-fi film Planeta Burr, Planet of Storms, for Roger Corman. The original film was scripted by Alexander Kazantsev from his novel and directed by Pavel Klushantsev. The film apparently had at least a limited American release through American International Pictures, Inc., but is best known from subsequent cable TV showings and home video sales. Spoilers ahead! Watch out and take care. It is the year 2000. Astronaut Andre Fernando narrates how things change rapidly on Earth. He demonstrates the vehicles and satellite designs that are continuously being engineered so as to discover outer space. The scientists are tirelessly working to find life on other planets. They are looking for conditions on another planet that support life. They are looking for Earth away from Earth. As the narration continues, he says that in the near future, mankind will have discovered these things that the scientists of this era is working on. As waves of the sea thrash on the rocks at the shore, Andre says that he is still under the spell of the voice he heard on Venus. He says that he feels intoxicated by Venus's atmosphere and can't seem to get over it. Andre tells the story of their voyage to the planet Venus from 2 years ago. In 1998, on the first attempt, a spaceship was sent to Venus. Unfortunately, it was hit by a meteor. Everything was destroyed by the impact. Now, Andre starts narrating the story of the voyage. And the scene shifts to 6 months later, where, in a second attempt, the spaceship is ready to take off to explore Venus. The code name for Earth control is Marcia. Everything's ready, and the spaceship is ready to blast off. The countdown begins, and off it goes. The spaceship crew includes astronaut Sherman and Captain Alfred. Along with the two men is John the robot. Captain Alfred awakens John, who is voice-controlled. Everything goes smoothly for the first 17 million miles. The spaceship stops at the U.S. fuel station, Texas, as scheduled. Radio contact with Marcia is intact. The commanding crew consists of Captain Billy Lockhart, astronaut Hans, and Andre Fernando. The commanding crew is anxious for the safety of the spaceship and stay alert towards the radio transmissions. The spaceship reports that they have successfully refueled the ship. Later, they report their location of landing on the planet. They tell the commanding team that it is a prehistoric planet. They haven't landed yet, but they know that it is a prehistoric planet. Then, they report that there is water beneath their spaceship and they are drifting. Just to remind you, they are landing on Venus, which is the hottest planet, and they are drifting on water. Stay with me, there's more to come. Then, the radio transmission disconnects. Andre tries to catch up with the transmission, but there is no response. Soon, they realize that there is no hope of getting in touch with them, so they decide to blast off themselves. Yes, just like that. Take the car out from the driveway, we're going to check on our mates. Not very far, just Venus. Their mission is to complete the project Discover Venus and rescue their co-astronauts if they were still alive. Meanwhile, on Venus, Kern and Sherman encounter reptilian creatures. They shoot them with their handguns. Kern attaches John the robot's head and he programs it. John starts working and taking commands. Kern and Sherman flee from the area using a tightrope. Back at Marcia, the commanding team is ready to blast off within 2 hours. They stop at the fueling station ahead of schedule and fuel in record time, then blast off to Venus. Andre thinks to himself during their journey that maybe Venus is not named after the goddess of love for no reason. Maybe the astronomer who named it knew something he didn't tell the world. However, before he can jump to a conclusion, they are ready to land on the planet. They land safely. They turn the beam on to take a look at the atmosphere outside. It is strange rock formations. They try to contact Kern and Sherman through radio, but they hear a singing voice. Andre suggests it's a human voice. In the narration, he says that it was the first time he heard her voice. Since no response is achieved through radio signaling, they get into their spacesuits and go out. The oxygen level is pretty close to the Earth's. Andre goes out to explore. Billy tells him to stay within visual contact. As he takes a walk, the narration continues and Andre talks about his feelings. He says that he had forgotten all about Sherman and Kern as the atmosphere was mesmerizing. Hans comes to inform Billy that he picked up 2 moving objects at a distant area. They suspect it might be Sherman and Kern, so they call Andre to come back. Andre is shackled by tentacles of a flesh-eating plant. Billy and Hans come to rescue him. They fight the tentacles off and manage to untangle Andre. They are amazed at the sight as the plant moves. However, they return to the spaceship to get the vehicle in order to carry on their search. Andre suggests that they should take the plant to an exhibit in a zoo on Earth. They carry on their search in a space vehicle and don't stop to observe the prehistoric creatures they encounter on their way. In a distant place on the planet, Kern and Sherman are struggling. Sherman has his spacesuit ripped and feels dizzy. Kern suggests he is getting infected. They want to rest, but have to keep moving. They find a waterfall. John says that its mechanism is in danger because of too much water. Kern commands John to find shelter. John finds a cave under the waterfall. Kern helps Sherman and they make it into the cave. Kern faints. Sherman calls out Marcia for help before passing out. John awaits command. Kern commands him to help the commanding team find them. On the other side, Billy, Hans, and Andre are trying to find them in the space vehicle. They hear the sound again. They stop and try to look from where it's coming. Andre thinks it is a human voice. He says that it's a girl. Hans denies it and says it could be a monster. Billy says that in this age, there could be someone else who visited the planet before them. Theories are a part of science until proven otherwise. However, Hans can't be convinced and says that no one in their right mind will ever visit the planet. At another part of the shoreline, there are beautiful blonde women sleeping on the rocks. One of them awakes. They talk telepathically. The leader calls everyone and wakes them, saying that their sisters are calling them into the sea. They jump into water and catch fish and eat it raw. They collect seashells. A mighty reptilian creature flies above them. The women call it their god. The leader tells the others that he is angry and that they should leave the place. The 3 on the other end can't find anything, so they return to their vehicle. They try to contact Kern and Sherman through the radio transmission. They successfully contact John, who tells them their location. When they come to know that Kern and Sherman have passed out, Billy takes charge. He commands John to follow his orders precisely. He then tells John to take out the tablet from Container 2 in their first aid kit. John follows, and then opens their helmets, puts the tablet in their mouths, and gives them water, and closes the helmet following Billy's command. The commanding ship is attacked by the reptilian creature. They shoot it, and it dies. However, the damage done by it causes them to submerge into the sea, where they find fish and octopus. They discover the idol of the creature they killed. Hans is convinced now that there had been a civilization on the planet. Andre wanders around and is seen by the women. However, he gets the feeling of being watched but doesn't see them. He takes a rock sample for its strange shape. Outside the sea, the dead body of the women's god floats ashore. 2 of them see it and report it to their leader. They call it Terror. She commands them to carry it to their temple and pray to its spirit. They gather around Terror's idol and perform a ritual. The leader wears a cap and prays for the destruction of those who killed him. Then they take Terror's body to float it away into the sea. The 2 women who have seen Andre surface. They tell their leader that there are invaders who are at their ancient temple under the sea. The leader suggests they are the demons who killed their god. They should die. The command crew comes out of the sea. They light a fire to dry everything that has become wet. The batteries, fortunately, are still dry. They try to fix the radio transmission. Suddenly, they hear the sound again. Andre wishes that if only he could find the woman and see what she looks like. Hans says it should be a monster just like the plant who tried to eat Andre. Andre looks around, but finds nothing. He sits at the shore and stares at the rock as if it has the answer to his questions. The car gets fixed and Billy and Hans call Andre. Andre hops in and Hans teases him if the voice woman took good care of him. Commander Billy tells Hans to stop teasing him as he is in love. The women go to a place with rocks around a pit. They perform a ritual and circle around it. Then they stop and pray to Terror for fire. The pit fires up and they keep praying. A giant volcano erupts and the leader tells them that the lava has erupted so they can stop praying now. Kern and Sherman, who have revived now, see the ash clouds forming. They see the volcano erupting. Sherman draws Kern's attention towards the magnificent volcano, and they see city lights behind it. They take too long in getting samples of the soil, and the lava blocks their way. So, they ride on John to pass through the lava. Meanwhile, they get connected to the radio transmission. John has a self-defense mechanism installed. He considers the weight of Kern and Sherman too much in the heat, so he tries to take them off. Commander Billy Lockhart tells them to switch the mechanism off. Sherman tries, but fails. When Kern is about to fall, John self-destructs and stops working. Billy and Andre get off the car, and Hans speeds up the car to save Kern and Sherman. He reaches them just in time and saves them. John is left behind and falls into the lava. Kern feels sad for the loss of John. Sherman tries to cheer him up, telling him that he served his purpose. They discuss the possibility of life on the planet and share their experiences. Andre insists he will stay and look for the woman who has the singing voice. Kern tries to convince him that it might be a coincidence with the winds. Sherman spooks him with some weeds and branches. They make it back to the spaceship. The women on the other end wake up from their sleep, and the leader tells them that they are safe now. However, they find John's body at the shore, and then their attention is drawn toward the spaceship. They go to Terror's idol once again and pray to him to destroy all the invaders and not let them escape. Their prayers are granted once again, and it starts raining heavily. The rain makes the surface uneven, so the spaceship can't take off. They try to level the surface. Andre runs out to place the ignition unit at some distance. He uses the rock he found under the sea to break the door open. When the rock hits the door, it cracks open and reveals the face of a woman. Andre gets excited and tells everyone that he was right, there is a woman. He insists on staying to see her, but he is pulled into the spaceship. They blast off. The women see them escape. Their leader tells everyone that the invaders are stronger than their gods. They throw rocks at Terror's idol and break it down. Then they raise John's body in its place. And the leader wears her praying hat and says, "O strongest God, hear us, we worship you." In the end, Andre winds up the story saying that it has been 2 years and no further attempts have been made to go to Venus. However, he is determined to go back and meet the woman behind the voice. Although there are glitches in the plot that seem absurd with the present-day science discoveries, still, the special effects and the spacesuits, etc. were amazing. It is a classic movie. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Comment and tell us which movie you would like to see recapped. Subscribe for more.